Okay. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Okay. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, hello. So, if you're just joining, do me a favor before we get into anything, just start sharing the link. Share the link. Let somebody join in. It's going to be a fantastic night. So, they're just going to be, chit chatting. They're just going to be having some meaningful conversations tonight. So, do me a favor and let somebody join in tonight's live. I'll be very, very grateful. And let me also know where you are watching me from. Hello, Salome. Hello, Salome. Hello, Salome. Okay, so very soon I'll be delving into why we are here. But in the interim, good evening, good evening. My name is Mrs. Wilma Fawcett. So most of you here know me from my Faith, My Womb show, which by God's grace has evolved to my Faith, My Womb ministry. So my Faith, My Womb ministry, all this ministry is about, or the mandate of this ministry is to hold the hands of couples that are trusting to conceive, to hold the hands of couples that are currently pregnant, to see them through to the 9th month and the delivery of their miracle babies, and to also hold the hands of young parents who are on this journey of parenting. So yes, that's what we are about. So I see a few of my sweet yummy mummies, as we call them. I see Mommy Priscilla, I see Mommy Bridget, I see Lady Frederica here as well. And drop it in the comments, where are you joining this live from? Where are you joining this live, or where are you watching me from? It helps us know our reach and how many people, or where people are actually watching us from. So I also see Osofo Kweku Boache. Hello, man of God, I salute you. Okay, so let me say thank you very much. You can see this beautiful setup. I cannot continue without giving honor to whom honor is due. So I salute my own personal bishop, the bishop of my household, the bishop of my Faith, My Womb ministry, Osofo Theophilus Fawcett. So you see the way I'm smiling. He's giving me fans behind the camera. So thank you, Osofo. Thank you so much for setting this fantastic setup for us to enjoy our life. Okay, so permit me to share a word of prayer with you. Father, we thank you for tonight. Thank you for this privilege to commune with your people. Thank you for this special time where we get to sit at your feet and hear you speak to us. Tonight, I commit myself into your hands as I have obeyed your words to come before your people with your word. I ask that every word you have placed in my spirit and on my heart will be articulated as you have ordained it to be. I pray that every soul watching me will also receive it as they can. Oh God, give them the grace, the capacity to absorb everything we will discuss here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. Let all the people in the back say amen. Okay, so this morning I was taking a short nap, very short nap, and I heard very clearly in my spirit to come live. And well, aside my Faith, My Womb show, which most of you know us from, it's very, very rare for me to come live, aside Thursdays when we have our Zoom Women in Waiting chit chat nights. But immediately I came out of my bedroom, I told my bishop that I feel this very strong urge for us to have a live session tonight. And he was actually very excited because he knows I just don't get up and do live. So I pray that as I have obeyed, may God also cause you to have a revelation in whatever I'm going to present to you tonight. Tonight, the Lord asked me to come here for us to dialogue about purposeful living, being intentional. And for those who are on my WhatsApp, or those who frequently visit my WhatsApp statuses, you would see that I am always saying one or two things about purpose. I'm always saying things that resonate with purposeful living. I'm always doing things that, are in sync with somebody who has an agenda, with somebody who has a mandate, with somebody who has something in mind as led by God. And all that boils to one thing: purposeful living. Now, this is going to be an interactive session, so it's not going to be a one-man or one-way conversation. I want you to drop in the comment section what you understand by purpose. Have you encountered the word before? Have you heard the word purpose before? If somebody has talked about the word purpose before, how did you understand it? If you've heard the word purpose before, what did it, or of what value was it to you? What words came alive to you, or what meaning came alive to you when you heard the word purpose? Okay, and I will be taking a few comments. I see Mommy Norita on the live, so hello Mommy Norita. She's joining us all the way from Canada. So I'm going to start with this story, and you will get to understand. I'll be throwing in a few stories here and there. My mom told me a story of my first day in preschool, or should I say nursery school. When I entered the class, I wasn't even 3 years old when I started school. So normally for my primary school, for those of you who don't know, I grew up in Takoradi, Oil City. So I'm an Oil City babe. And most kids naturally would begin school by the age of 3. But I wasn't yet 3. I was just 2 years, 2 months or 3 months. And I was homeschooled for about a year before. So by 1 year, I had started homeschooling. So by the time I was 2 years, 3 months, my father felt that there was no point still being at home when I've been homeschooled to, learn past the age I'm supposed to be in, for lack of a better word. So he took me to school. I passed all the entrance exams and whatnot, and I was required to start on a particular day in September. Now, guess what? I am told, if I'm lying, then my mom is lying, but I'm told that the day I walked into my class, nursery 1, and I remember my teacher's name very well, Teacher Peace. I saw kids crying. I saw children just wailing for their parents. And all these kids were 3 years plus in nursery 1. And I was just 2 years, 3 months. Take note of the year. It's very important to the story I'm building up. So I remembered at that tender age, and my mom apparently hadn't left. My dad too hadn't left. So they were watching me from the window. So quickly I took out my handkerchief, because she gave me a handkerchief to go to school, even though I was that young. And I started going around wiping the tears of all those who were crying. And I was surprised they were crying, because I was wondering why they should be crying. Because we are all in the same class, right? Nursery 1. I am not crying. My parents are also leaving. Yes, your parents may have left. But even after my parents left, according to Teacher Peace, I still wasn't crying. I never cried. All I was doing was going around, wiping the tears of people, putting my arms around them. And the teachers were just looking at me, wondering, who is this child? Who is this girl? Where is she from? That at the age of 2 years, she can understand what it means to wipe the tears of people. Now, little did I know this would be my lifelong mission. But as at that time, I had absolutely no idea. If perhaps, for lack of a better word, as I was even growing up, if that time had ever popped in my memory, maybe it would have even given me a clue as to my life's mission, okay? Because moving on from there, I realized that naturally I had a gift of always encouraging people. I had a gift of always making people feel better. I had a gift of always being that listening ear. I would have friends, and I was the type that I wasn't too, what's the word? I was friendly, but I didn't have a lot of friends, but I was very friendly with everybody. But you know how girls like being in cliques, and this clique and that clique. I didn't have that. I would flow with every clique. The low income clique, you find me there. You find me sitting with them, playing with them. I was of a middle income class by God's grace. You also see me with the high class girls, and I would flow with them. And you would see me with the income girls like myself, or middle income girls like myself, and you will also still see me flowing and, just bonding with them. I wasn't discriminatory. I was all round. Now, again, moving from there, now follow the story very well, because it's going to tie into what we are going to talk about on purposeful living. So we left, junior high school, or please let me know if you can hear me. I think the sound went off briefly. Please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. I think the sound went off briefly, but we are back. So let me know, drop it in the comments if you can hear me. Please, can you hear me? I want to see a comment that you can hear me. So I want to see a comment that I can be heard, or you can hear me loud and clear. So Mommy Sophia, Mommy Dorcas, Mommy Frederica, please put it in the comments if you can hear me as I speak. If you can't hear me, please put it in the comments if you can't hear me. Yes, it's back. Thank you very much. So where was I? So eventually, I think, okay, let me backtrack a little. So from Wesley Girls High School, I mentioned that I got to KNUST, joined the drama ministry, and was called to be part of the what do you call it, committee for women's commission, or the women's commission, just to help with the women of the department and all that. And I took that role so seriously that by the third year, a team or a delegation was sent to me to convince me to be nominated for the women's commissioner for the entire college. And the entire college of architecture and planning consisted of land economy planning students, architectural or Archito students, and then I think building technology students. Yes, building technology students. So all these four departments came together to form the college, and I was supposed to be the women's commissioner in charge of all the women in the college. And I dare say that at that point, purpose was birthed in me. At that point, all the things I had experienced growing up kind of came to a climax, because as a women's commissioner, I had to make sure that I can interact with some of the ladies going through challenges here and there. I had to come up with innovative programs, and for the first time, I say to the glory of God, I organized the first ever food fair and bazaar of the college. For the first time, I organized a career or a women's career development seminar. It had never been done in the college before, but I brought in a senior most accomplished surveyor who was a woman who had been accomplished in the field, and she came to speak to us on balancing our homes after school. So all those times, little did I know that things will unfold after some time. Well, I left campus, and when I came back to Takoradi after my degree, I still felt that burden. And every season where I did something, there was always an accompanying burden to do it. So when I came back now, the burden were two. The first thing was to set up a children's choreography group called Heavenly Jewels. And the second burden was to set up a young ladies ministry, Virtuous Ladies Ministry, which was officially launched, agreed by my church CCC in Takoradi, and we hit the ground running, just fellowshipping with the young girls, talking, praying, just having a good time, and being groomed into wifehood, into motherhood, and just living a purposeful life. By God's grace, I got married, and after marriage, we all know the story, and I don't even have to repeat my own story, but for the purpose of those who are new here, so I got married, and again, after 5 years, when the baby didn't come, and eventually God showed up, within the fourth or the third year, we had already had that burden again to have a show to encourage many couples going through what we were going through. Hence the birth of My Faith, My Womb ministry. Now, comments in one sentence, all the things or the narration I have done with my life story, what sticks out for you? And I want to read a few of the comments. What jumps out at you of all the things I have mentioned with the trajectory of my life? For me, it's about a life of purpose. A life of purpose and intentional living, bearing in mind the purpose. So I have a few notes I just want to read with you. So I have here that, so living intentionally or purposeful living is living intentionally with a focus on goals, values, and fulfilling one's life's purpose. So immediately my husband and I knew that we have been called to sort of wipe the tears of couples, and not just wipe the tears of couples in this waiting room, or couples in the marriage season, or couples trying to navigate life as young people in relationships. immediately we got to that stage, we knew automatically that we had to be intentional. It means that everything about our life had to be intentional. Everything about our life had to have a foundation. Everything about our life had to be so meticulous. Do you understand? We could not just live like the ordinary person. We could not just live like, in quotes, the average person. You know, sometimes there are some people, there are some people, it's like, some people in this life are on autopilot. It's not like they don't know what they are about, but it's like to them anything goes. So you can ask them what food, oh bibia, what do you want to be in future, oh bibia, then like there is nothing to commit them to being intentional about something, to being intentional about their needs, to being intentional about their wants. But here we are saying that when you are a purposeful person, it means that you make or you program your life such that every action, every decision, everything you say, everything you do is backed by the word intentionality. Why? Because you begin to have, or your mind is cast with a vision. Your eyes are set on a focus, on a vision, on a mandate. So you cannot just do anything outside what you see yourself doing. Please let me know if you are understanding. I'm not seeing messages here, but please let me know if you are understanding the drift, or if you are understanding where I'm driving at. Now the thing is that it is so important, even when you haven't discovered your purpose, okay? It is so important to live purposefully. Do you know why? I'll come to how you can discover your purpose. I'll come to how you can figure out what you are called to do, how you can find out who you are called for, how you can find out why you should even do what you think you've been called for. It is all important. But the reason why, even when you haven't discovered those things yet, the reason why it is important for you to still live purposefully is because every season has an agenda. Every season has a purpose. So you may not ultimately know the big picture. You may not ultimately see the biggest end of where you are going. But in that space you find yourself, there is a reason why you are there at that point in time. And mind you, you realize I haven't even quoted any scripture yet. I haven't even mentioned anybody in the Bible yet, but I have used my life story to chronicle my journey and how I have, by the grace of God, lived purposefully within each season I found myself. So whether in SS, whether in the university, whether after school, each season I found myself was a springboard for me to birth out something. It was a springboard for me to birth purpose. And that is how I ended up living purposefully. Now, sometimes when I see some comments, when I see some, messages, I get emotional. This evening, for instance, I was there and I saw a message from one of the daughters of this ministry, Mommy Millicent, and she just recently, I think a few days ago, she and a group of ladies went to have a NICU project. They are in Kumasi, so they went to visit the neonatal intensive care unit of a hospital, and the word was, "Oh, Mommy, you have provoked purpose in me." I wish I could even read exactly what she said, but it's like, it just gets me emotional that in my obedience to living out purpose, somebody has the confidence to also live out a life of purpose. One of my daughters is also here, and very recently we had a session with a very great woman, what's her name, Mrs. Dixon. She's a marketing and media personality, and she challenged us so much. And just by that connection, or just by that nurturing for her to come on our platform, this daughter of mine has done exploits within the shortest time. If you see the kind of things she's doing, the kind of things she's executing in the new craft she has gained, and she's like, "Mommy, thank you for your impact in my life." And I just get emotional. Like, I can literally see tears, or I will just get teary just by seeing those things. So you can understand that living or being intentional about a purpose, the first thing is that it's not about you. And I gave these examples because you need to understand that purposeful living goes beyond your needs and your wants. Purposeful living is for the greater good of the community. And if you are a woman of faith, if you're a man of faith, you understand that purposeful living goes beyond you and extends to kingdom advancement. It extends to the reason why God made us ambassadors here on earth. And one of the cardinal points of being ambassadors here on earth is soul winning. So anybody should see myself, Wilma, should see also Theophilus, should see my faith in my womb, and a light should just draw them to us. And the moment they are drawn, they get to understand why that light is even shining. They get to know that it is even the grace of God, the grace of God over our life that is causing that light to shine. Do you understand? So you are attracted by a light, and that light will give you an inclination that there is a source of that light. So you will wish, you will yearn to know that source. And again, even if you know God or you don't know God, you will see that something will change or shift about your mindset just because of that encounter. So purposeful living goes beyond you. Now the second thing I'll say is that when it comes to purposeful living, if you are not living a life of purpose, you are always emotionally destabilized. Can I get a witness? Okay, I can hear the sound is now echoing. When you live a life of purpose, okay, when you live a life of purpose, you understand that your mental health, your emotional well-being, everything is tied into your purposeful living. Now, backstory, I used to work in the corporate space, okay? And at some point, in as much as when I started doing that work, I'm a real estate professional. I've done valuations, I've done compensation valuations, I've done property rentals, I've done property sales, I've done property management, you name it. Every spectrum of the real estate space, I have done it. I've done interior decor, I've done it, okay? But a time came when I realized that I wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy. I would squirm to get out of bed to go to work because I just wasn't happy. Is it because that wasn't my purpose? Not necessarily. But maybe for me at that time, the yearning, or maybe at that time, my zeal, my reason for doing what I was doing at that time was no longer relevant to me. Do you understand? So you have to understand that your emotional, your mental health, your well-being is tied to living a purposeful life. And now I'm a very happy person. You can't pay me millions to miss a session like this or to miss a show when I have the capacity to. When there is nothing stopping me, there have been so many times I am sick. There have been so many times I'm stressed. There's been so many times I'm literally on the verge of a burnout, and I will see through to the end of church chat night because I am living that life of purpose. So, and sometimes it's so amazing when I come on the chit chat, I'm no longer feeling sick. Immediately the chit chat ends, I'm not feeling well again. So it just tells you that even your state of mind, how happy you are, how sad you are, how fulfilled you are, is tied to what you have been called to do and how you are doing it effectively. Now, the third thing I'll say, I have so much to share, so I'm trying to compress it. The third thing I'll share is that, you see, when you are intentional about being purposeful or living a purposeful life, your decision making even changes. Sometimes when you are in that season, you will know that it's not everywhere you are supposed to go. It's not everybody you are supposed to interact with. It's not everything you are supposed to say. It's not everything that is supposed to gain a reaction from you. And here I'm going to kind of tie it in. You see, I've not said anything about being in the waiting season because I want us to understand that living a life of purpose goes beyond being in the waiting room. It goes beyond waiting on God for something. No, you don't have to be. We are all, whether you like it or not, we are all in the waiting room for something. So it applies, this cuts across. It applies to everybody. You don't necessarily have to be in the waiting room to live a purposeful life. As a person, God created you so uniquely. There is no one like you. God fashioned you so distinctly that no one can be compared to you. So you have it in you to fulfill purpose, and therefore your decision making, the things you commit to do, must be so thought through. And this is dependent on how you view your life, how you view your purpose, how you view what you are called to do. Do you understand? Now, let me digress and use those that are, let's say, waiting on God for children. When you are in this scene, or when you are in this waiting room waiting for children, you will understand that, in quotes, it is not every job you can do. Especially, and I'm choosing my words carefully, especially, let's say, when you have waited for certain years and you see that your work, you keep stressing out, you are consistently stressed, you are not happy. You have to take a break and ask yourself, is this it? Is this where I'm supposed to be? You have to go back to the altar. You have to go back to the manufacturer and ask him, God, is this where I'm supposed to be at all? Your decision making. Your decision making. Let me share this story. I know a very good friend of mine who, I think 2 years ago, some way, somehow, she just resigned from her corporate work. And she had a baby before. Before she had a baby, she had been waiting on God for 5 years for that first baby. Oh, greetings, one of God. Pastor Mrs. Ekia Usamadi, I salute you, man of God. Thank you so much for joining. So back to the story. This, my friend, had waited on God for 5 years. The baby came, everything was perfect. After a while, by the 3rd year, the baby wasn't coming. By the 4th year, another baby wasn't coming. So she just left because she was really stressed from her corporate space. Now, when she resigned, by God's grace, she got another offer. And at this time, she was balancing trying to run a catering side business with what she was doing. It was stressful, but she was trying to just balance it out well. Now, unfortunately or fortunately for her, after a few months with a new company, she just had to let it go too. Guess what? Little did she know that that termination or that exit from that company will lead to the birthing of her second miracle baby. And she just conceived at the snap of her fingers. She just conceived just like that again after 5 years. So do you understand how being purposeful and making intentional decisions can actually yield results for you if you are in that season? And I've already talked about the fact that being purposeful or living a life of purpose is not about you, but I want to add that it also extends to building a legacy. So when you are intentional about living a life that is founded on purpose, you build a legacy. Listen, I keep saying this, that if I haven't done anything in my life, if I haven't achieved anything in our life, the altar of my faith, my womb, is more than enough. It's more than enough to cover for anything we have done in our past life. I don't know if you are with me. Don't get me wrong, we don't minimize or we don't sideline our achievements of other things. By God's grace, God has been good to us with our other businesses. But with my faith, my womb, all the other businesses are thriving on purpose. Don't make it's twisted at all. But my faith, my womb, was a purpose born out of season and pain. So it is so dear to our hearts that if for anything at all, if we didn't do anything at all with those things, my faith, my womb, will cause us to be fulfilled for life. Trust me. So it's about building legacy. Now, people watch us from Uzbekistan. Bishop, am I lying? Uzbekistan. Where? Bishop, name some of the places for me. Kazakhstan, Zambia, Japan, US, Canada, Zimbabwe, South Africa. What? And all these times I was in the corporate space, nobody knew me from Zambia. But we have people all over from the world just connected to this altar simply because of this word purpose and us being intentional about it. Okay, so now we've talked about being purposeful, but how would you even identify your purpose? How would you know that, okay, I'm living this way because I've been called to do this? Because they go hand in hand. When you know what you are called for, it absolutely helps with being intentional. And when you even don't know when you are called for, as you keep living intentionally, God also takes you through a process for you to discover what you are called for. Do you understand? So they are not mutually exclusive. This goes with this, that goes with this. Number one, you need to know yourself. Who are you? In one word, I want us to do an exercise. I said it's not going to be a talk shop, it's getting to be a talk shop. So in one word, please put it in the comments for you. How would you describe yourself? Mommy Marita, how would you describe yourself? Woman of God, Mommy Kia, how would you describe yourself? Woman of God, Mommy Marita, how would you describe yourself? Lady Juliana, how would you describe yourself? Lady Lina, how would you describe yourself? And I want to know in the comment section, who are you? Who are you? When one of my favorite mothers in the Lord will say that when we take out the label Mrs. away from your name, who are you? Aside the fact that everybody knows that you are the heartbeat of this man, you are the, beautiful woman of God of this man. I mean, when we take the Mrs. aside, who are you? You need to know yourself. Number two, you need to know what your passions are. Look, there are two things off the top of my head I can be asleep and you can call me to do, and my spirit will be as alive as I am if I am awake. Event planning and writing. These two things, I can be asleep and you can wake me up and I will function as if I've been alive for 24 hours. Those are my passions. So you'll see that every event, by the grace of God, that we do in My Faith, My Womb, it comes off, so classic because it's an inborn thing. We are born event planners, myself and my bishop. We are inborn event planners. This is what we do. Aside the fact that we also do it for a living, it is our passion. We are able to see through events and projects from paper or planning stages to execution stages with no stress. You can give your events to us and go to sleep. This is our passion. You can give us a word, or you give me a word and ask me to write a script about it. I will write something, a beautiful piece for you, and you wonder, hey, is this anyone that wrote it? Yes, I wrote it. Yes, because I know these are my passions. Mommy Lina, do you know your passion? What excites you? What makes your heart beat? You see how when you were so, like, let's use a man who sees a woman for the first time, and there is something that begins to do boom, 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 boom inside you. It's like you cannot even function because you are starstruck and love struck at the same time. You have this passionate desire. When you are dating, you see that passion is what makes you discipline not to commit to fornication, because you are naturally attracted to the person. That thing just comes alive when you see that person. What makes you come alive? Share it with me. The next thing I'll share is that you need to also understand that you must ask yourself, what impact do I want to make? The whole world, there is no one like me. So what can I do that in the whole world, when they are looking for somebody to do this, my name will come up? In the whole world, when they are looking for somebody who has left an impact, an indelible mark of impact in the heart of somebody, my name should come up. What legacy would you, if I say what legacy, it simply means, what would you want people to know you for? At the end of the day, one of the things, a few years ago, I met a certain lady and she was like, oh, I remember you when I came to first year. I remember you were the only women's commissioner that organized a food bazaar in a women's workshop. I looked at her and I was like, really, you remember? Listen, I was so shocked because obviously it had been so many years, but this young girl could remember. She wasn't young because by then, this was about 4 years ago. It was either before or after COVID. She has grown, but she still remembers. She could just remember, and she couldn't remember me for any other thing. Oh, she couldn't remember that, oh, I was just in the department, or I was just one of the people. She could remember me not for my position, not for the title. She could remember me for the impact. Oh, and these were her words. Oh, you're the only women's commissioner I remember who did a food bazaar, and you also did a career workshop for We the Women. I was like, you remember? That's all I said. So listen, it goes beyond you. Again, for the umpteenth time, purposeful living or discovering your purpose has to do with what legacy, what impact, what would you want other people to know about you. Serena Williams, Venus Williams, they made an impact in tennis. Anybody who has ever attempted to play tennis, you will know about Serena and her sister. You would have heard something about them. Anyway, let me move on. Please, are you being blessed? Let me know in the comment section if you are being blessed, because tonight the Holy Spirit asked me to just come and do this, and in a few minutes I'll be out of here. The next thing is that you have to also understand that for those of us that are, faith-based, or we have faith as our anchor, how does my faith come into the picture? What are your passions? What have you been called to do, or what impact do you want to leave? But how does your faith tie into it? Do you understand? Your belief system. If you know that you are a firm believer, and you know that God doesn't make mistakes, you know that things that happen are not coincidence, you know that everything that happens for a reason, you know that things that happen in your life, always the puzzle is always being fixed. You get to, like, there's always, the puzzle always adds up. You understand what I mean? So I want you to understand that your faith also comes to play. So you must ask yourself, even if I want to build a hospital, even if I want to even if I want to touch the life of children, how does my faith come into play? Is it just about going to give them food and turning? No, I can go and give them food and still give them the word of the one who can supply them bread forever and ever, the bread of life. So I have tied my faith into the call, or into the purpose for which I went to give them food. The next thing I'll share with you is that, what are your strengths and values? What are your strengths and values? What is it that you know that, as for this one, I can endure it no matter what somebody does? I can't cry about this. These are my strengths. My strength is that you can offend me, I won't mind you. It's a strength. My strength is that I don't get upset easily. My strength is that, I can be so tired for 24 hours, and if I'm doing something very relevant, I can never sleep. It's a strength. It's a strength you possess, but you need to know your strength. You need to know your weaknesses. You need to know your values. What are the things that you thrive on? There are certain people, I know one of the cardinal values that my bishop, you can swear, if we are to get into that space, you can place your last bet dollar that everything he does is excellent. One of his cardinal values of life is excellence. There is nothing like, there is nothing like that. Even food. Even food, and you see I'm laughing because even food, you should sometimes see how he will garnish his own food, assuming I'm not the one that is serving him. He will take his time, cut his tomatoes, cut his onions, cut his vegetables, just a pechepe, like his values, excellence. There is nothing like, a small event in my faith, We've never had any small, be just for a few people. There will always be something that will let you know that, hey, as for this man, you realize that this live, for instance, I could have just come on with my phone and started the live. No. We cannot do no. I'm here. If I'm not here, it's different. But I'm here. You need light. You need a connection. You need NDVI. You need that. Do you understand? So you need to know your core values as well. Now, in addition to the skill, the strength, you also need to know the skills you have. Some of us, we are blessed with certain skills. Nobody teaches you how to sew, or nobody taught you how to sew. Now you just know how to sew things. I know one lady minister, oh my goodness, she is so gifted with styling. You and her can have the same dress, but how she will wear hers and how she will style the dress, you'll be surprised. You can have the same hair, but how she will style the hair and how your hair will be, you'll be amazed. It's a skill. So what skills do you have? What do you have in your hands? See, for God to bless anything, when it comes to being purposeful, you need to be intentional about your skill set. Your skill set. Some of you are graced not just with writing. Some of you are also graced with singing. Nobody taught you. You just had this voice and you started doing voice coaching. Your skill set is singing. Your skills. Some of you, managing someone's business comes naturally to you. Your skill set. Some of you, sales, marketing a business. Oh, you don't have to talk. I remember one man, Professor Joshua Alabi, I went to sell a property to him and he's like, now you crowd, you did you do marketing? Where did you learn marketing? I was like, please sir, I've never done marketing. Oh, I only did land economy. He said, hey, and you can rap people like this. Skill. Anyway, moving on. So you also have to understand that when it comes to finding your purpose, you need to prioritize your relationships. You need to prioritize the things that will encourage your personal growth. Because listen, I've heard this 1,000 times, that you are the average of the 5 people you spend your time with. So there are certain people that, in quotes, don't add any value to your life. You need to think twice. That's why you need to also always want to belong to communities that can inspire you to greater heights, communities that can challenge you. A community like My Faith, My Womb, you can't be in My Faith, My Womb for 1 year and remain the same. Then you are not serious, in quotes. Yes, that's the truth. You cannot be in a community like My Faith, My Womb and you are the same. And you don't have any change in your business, you don't have any change in your spiritual life, you are not praying, or let's say you are not even studying the word, you don't you are not friendly, you haven't what do you call it, you haven't made any friend, your marriage is still the same or even worse off than you joined My Faith, My Womb. I'm not saying that you should have it all tied together or all figured out, but what I'm saying is that once you belong to a community like My Faith, My Womb, at least one aspect of your life must bear witness that you've had an encounter, you've had a change, you've had a personal growth. And that is what will actually captivate you or set your mind on something. One lady I mentor, and she says, Mommy, thank you. She was going through a few challenges with her marriage, and I kept telling her that, listen, the grass is not green on the other side. Don't think that because we all look so put together, we fight a lot of battles behind the scene. So you too, this is your battle. So you too, fight on your knees, because you know that you've been called into this area of relationships and marriages. So you cannot afford to just take it lightly that, oh, na me attack him. No, still press on, fight through it. But maybe, who knows, maybe she didn't have this community. How will she be able to bounce back? And she has bounced back with her husband by the grace of God. She's doing amazing. She started a new business and the business is just thriving like this. Anyway, let me just move on. Now, when it comes to purposeful living, no one says that it's going to be smooth. When it comes to discovering who you are, why you've been called, who you've been called to, no one says that it's going to be an easy journey. Far from it. And you see the way I narrated my story so beautifully, you would have thought that I've had life so rosy throughout. Thanks be to God, by the grace of God, financially wise, I haven't struggled so much financially when it comes to my upbringing. But still, it hasn't been a walk in the park. There have been days that you will battle certain things, and I'm sharing a few with you. Number 1, fear and self-doubt. Fear. False evidence appearing real. Look, sometimes the enemy will tell you that you are not good enough. Let me read this comment. It says that Mommy Elena says, I'm going nowhere. I'm loving every bit of tonight's session. Thank you, darling. Do me a favor and share the link, okay? Mommy Norita says, I'm that strong woman by grace that love to spur others on. Wow. I'm happy when they achieve greater heights based on my teachings and guidance by God's grace and mercy. Absolutely. And I agree. My video isn't syncing with the audio. My audio is still at where I spoke about feeling sick prior to chit chat. Okay. Okay, I think Daddy will. Okay, so Daddy is sorting it out for us. Don't worry. Hello, Miss Paula Gigi. Hi. Please, if you want the best kunkunte, please get in touch with Miss Paula. I don't know if she's still doing it, but she has the best kunkunte. So please get in touch with her. That's a free ad right there. Okay, so I was talking about fear. So fear can cripple you. Very recently, I shared a few things about fear, and I went online, and strangely, another lady, or talkative mom had also shared something similar. So I had screenshots. So I sent her the screenshots and I said, look at this. And she said, hey, this is really a wedding season. And I said, yes, because I just posted it yesterday. So how come you two are saying the same thing? It means that, listen, fear can stifle you, but you don't have to allow it. Sometimes God can tell you to do something. Or let's say last year, God told you to do something. You are afraid. A year later, that fear has kept you stranded, grounded, stagnated, and you are still at that same place, and you are still there marking time. And what even pains the most is that you will see somebody else doing the same thing God called you to do. And you know the sad thing, that person will even do it bigger and better than you, and you are there wondering, who told this person my idea? How did this person get this idea? And let me even not sugarcoat it. Sometimes it will be somebody that is even from your own circle. Fear. And the crazy thing, or let me read it, say that the sad thing about fear is that the longer you wait, the more time the enemy has to speak to you. So as you are still waiting, thinking, who would buy it, who would even agree with this product, the more you think about it, the more time the enemy has to speak negativity to you. So please, today, I pray that may the Lord deliver you from any spirit of fear that has kept you bound and limited, in Jesus' name. Number 2, self-doubt. Listen, there's something called imposter syndrome, and it's so real. Sometimes you can consistently feel like you are not good enough. Sometimes consistently you can hear yourself telling yourself that nobody likes me. You can hear yourself telling yourself that everybody hates me. You can hear yourself telling yourself that I am not good enough. You can hear yourself telling yourself that my life is not going anywhere. No. Anyone who is intentional about living a life of purpose is also intentional about blocking the things or the portals that allow self-doubt and fear to creep in. So you must know your triggers. You must know the things that present fear to you. You must know the things that can cause you to feel afraid. You must know the things that cause you to feel unworthy. For some of you, it is certain relationships you find yourself in. There are certain friends that every time you bring a business idea, this friend will tell you, you told her, oh, you want to start what? A bakery. Now, wine a better. Bread. Bread. My sister, like self-doubt. Meanwhile, God has been whispering to you, start this thing, it will work out. You are not of the economy of this world. You have backing. I am with you. It may be a simple product. It can even be baby dresses, or it can even be a mother care, but yours is different. You are not like any other person. God made you so unique. So why would you have to allow fear and self-doubt to steal your shine as a daughter or as a son of God? Tell yourself, enough is enough. I want to hear you say to yourself, enough is enough. Number 2, distraction and busyness. Sometimes, for those who already even know what you've been called to do, the greatest challenge, or one of the greatest challenge you can deal with, is distraction. Sometimes the enemy will put certain things as roadblocks in your path, and you have to be so intentional to clearing every one of those roadblocks. Sometimes it can be money. Listen, when we started My Faith, My Womb, those of you who are here, if you think I'm lying, go to My Faith, My Womb page on Facebook, right after the live, of course, or go to YouTube and begin to check the previous sessions that we've had, or the previous episodes, episode 1 or season 1, season 2, and look at the backgrounds, look at how we were sitting, look at the arrangements, look at the the screen, or the Bishop help me, the setup, and then the clearness, or the HD, the crisp of the camera, you get the drift. And compare it to, let's say, season 5. Compare it even to season 4. Let's start from season 4. Just compare it to season 4. Compare it to season 5. Compare it to season 6. And ask yourself, how did we get here? Did we have it all figured out? No. There were times we didn't have money. Yes. There were times that we didn't even feel like shooting because we are tired. There were times that sometimes you ask yourself, oh, the people that you're even doing it for, do they even appreciate it? But you will still get up because there is no time. There is nothing like being distracted. The enemy is busy. So you too, you have to be busy. You have to be busy, to do what you have to do. You cannot just afford to just give the enemy a field day in your mind. No. So how do you combat that? You need to keep being busy. But you see, there's a caveat. Listen, being busy or busyness is not a substitute for being productive when it comes to intentional living or living a life of purpose. Being busy, being all over the place. Hey, sometimes you go for events and then let's say you see an usher or ubia or chebibi and I say be a friend of the bride. Now, okay, protocol team who she's not the protocol manager. Okay, protocol team, there's a difference. So there's somebody who is a protocol manager, and there's somebody who is part, or there are people who are part of the protocol team. But you see this friend, she'll get up, she'll walk here, she'll come here. Please, are you okay? Muhia bibi, pachamude muhia bibi, amon can't share me. I for no madam for. Hey. You know what? If you've encountered such people, let me know in the comment section. If you have encountered such people, like those people, they are just busy, but they are not doing anything. You ask yourself how many people they have even served, and you see that they haven't even served one person. They are just busy. And when you are on the path to intentional living or purposeful living, sometimes life can get like that. Sometimes you can be so busy with work. You are busy. You are jumping, client to client. So you have even forgotten that the main reason why God called you for that business was to make sure that maybe women are off the streets, so you get the money. It's not about the money you are getting, it's about making sure that you also commit to getting those children off the streets. But you've forgotten because you are busy chasing money. Purposeful living. Anyway, the next thing will be societal expectations and pressure. Somebody say pressure. If you're in the church, I'll say pressure. Societal expectations can kill. And I'm stressing it. Societal expectations, it can kill you. I have 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. I've been given 5 minutes. I don't know how we're going to end this, but yes, Honampe job. Societal expectations, it can kill you. Everybody expects that you should be a certain way. Let me use the Osofumamis. The Osofumamis, everybody expects them to be in a certain way. Everybody expects that an Osofumami should be able to preach. But maybe that's not your calling. You haven't been called to hold the microphone. My mommy will tell you, Mrs. Adejumo, she'll tell you, say, before she was called to hold the microphone, she was holding broom phone. She swept the church for years. Even till today, she keeps saying that she hasn't stopped sweeping the church anytime she has the opportunity and she's around. She always goes to sweep the church because that is where God found her faithful. Do you understand? So you cannot afford, again, I'm saying,
be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. So in thee, oh Lord, I put my trust. In thee, oh Lord, I put my trust. In thee, oh Lord, I put, oh God, my trust. In thee, oh Lord.
Yes, so societal expectations, people can just cripple you. So please don't cave in. And for the mothers here who are waiting, again, societal expectations. When you have one child, it will never be enough for people. They'll tell you, wunechi, wunechi. When you have two children, if they are all boys, it will never be enough for people. Third one, na enye oba, third one na enye oba. When you have a third one and it's a girl, you better catch your soul. Ono nkwane the only girl, neni nje. Sign for oba kan. Society will never ever be appeased. So please do you on the way to purpose. Go in at your own pace. You will figure it out. None of us has it all figured out. Trust me, we don't. We are just living daily with the grace of God and being intentional about the things that we do. And now I want to share with you a few strategies, okay? So before when we end, if you'd want to, I have this document, okay? It's more like how will I call it? Okay, I'll talk more about it by the time I end. But if you want a copy of that document, especially for young mothers, it's like a purpose sheet, okay, or a purpose discovery sheet. So you just comment in it, a purpose sheet, and then I'll be able to send it to you on WhatsApp if you want it. So if you are watching and you have my WhatsApp number, you can send it to me, 0555937768, okay? All right, so the next thing I'll talk about are the strategies. Anyone you see living a life of purpose, talk about the big weights. One of the things that they do, I could talk of let's say Anita Esking, mention them, all these beautiful, Stratcom, what's her name, Auntie AC, all these people. One of the things I've ever heard them share about is goal setting. Some of us, we don't set goals. Now, at the beginning of every year, in fact, at the ending of every year, it's something you have to be purposeful or intentional about. You need to take stock of your year. It doesn't mean your year would be so beautiful or it's so great on paper, but you have to literally take stock. And one way by doing that is actually taking stock every month. So every month I have something I write, monthly wins. So monthly wins, I know that, oh, this month it's me, say I was able to do this, I was able to achieve this, I was able to do that. Okay, so by December you have a full track record of what you've been able to accomplish for the year. That becomes your basis of what you can achieve for the next year, because you know your strength. So it doesn't make you think so wild. At the same time, it also doesn't make you think that you shouldn't dream outside the box. Sometimes a friend of mine will tell you, dream as big as because God can fund it. Okay, so goal setting, you need to set goals, and we all know, or most of us who know these SMART goals. SMART goals means specific. So the year 2025, you are here, you are turning, let's say 34, 33, 32, 40, 45, whatever age. What do you want to accomplish? If you want to be intentional about being purposeful, if you want to live purposefully in 2025, when you said 2025, when you wake up every day, you have something on your mind to do. It doesn't mean 365 days you would be whole, or 365 days, everything will be solid. But it means that even when things are not solid, at the back of your mind, you know that you are recuperating to bounce back to what you were doing before. So set goals, specific goals, be specific, like write exactly what you want to see. The second thing is that they should also be measurable. You know your strength. If you know that there are certain things that you may not easily achieve, just, it's a process. You will get there. Okay, you will get there. You know, at this point, you can work from home. You cannot afford working from a shop. It's not bad to add it to your goals, but you can even divide your goals. You can have short-term goals. You can have medium-term goals. You can have long-term goals. So your long-term goal obviously can be relocating to a new shop. Your medium-term goal can be, creating a very friendly workspace. So in your home, you can just be saving towards it. Then the short-term goal is to start working from home. So you just get a small table, you just get something like we did. We didn't go and rent any studio anywhere. We used our home for a studio. Do you understand? So it's important you measure the kind of goals you want to set. Then the next thing would be, they should be achievable. Achievable. See, one of the ways to have achievable goals is to break your goals into smaller bits. So every month you have a goal in mind, but every week you need to have small tasks that can help you achieve those goals. Some of us, the autopilot. The cruise, we are just growing, we are just growing, we are just going, like we are just going. No, sometimes you need to also take a break and take stock. How has that worked for you? I'm not the type of person that boxes people. For some people, it works for them. They are spontaneous and it's fine. But assess yourself, analyze yourself. If you have done that over a period and it hasn't worked for you, why still keep replicating the same thing? So rather, set some time and set some goals. Sometimes it can just be 3 goals, and the 3 goals, just break it down. How can I do this? So in every week, what would I need to do to achieve this? That's it. The next thing will be relevant. See, set goals that go beyond you, beyond your wants, beyond your daily eating. No, it should be beyond that. Relevant goals are goals that will cause men to keep mentioning your name in places where you are not even there. Relevant goals will have people mentioning and vouching for you in your absence. So please set relevant goals, and time bound. Don't just leave the goals. Put some time to it. Sometimes we all make those mistakes. I'll be the first to admit. Sometimes we don't put times or time schedules on them, especially in the part of the country where we are. But sometimes it's important to actually put timelines on your goals. You have told yourself, by the end of November, I shouldn't be doing this. Just before this live, I was telling Daddy that I've told myself before December, I need to see an eye specialist. You realize I keep squinting. So I need to make sure that I see the eye specialist before the end of the year. And that is a specific, I've actually timed it. Before the end of the year is December 31st. So before 31st, I need to make sure that I've seen an eye specialist. Okay. Then intentionality. Every decision you make, you have to know that you need to tie it to the purpose. You need to tie it. And like I said, purpose is not just the big vision of what your life is all about. Every season carries its own purpose. So every decision, maybe right now, your purpose is that you are in school. So maybe your purpose is that you're supposed to be that voice for your class. You're supposed to be that voice that will actually cause your class to be a united front, to achieve something or to do something for the school. Maybe in that season, that is the goal. I read something by Mrs. Jikunu, and she was just talking about how fulfilled she felt being part of a school's anniversary celebration and the role she played in it. And for me, that is just purposeful. You understand? Because they committed to doing something and they've been able to achieve it. She's fulfilled. So in that season, that's what she's called to do. And every decision she made, if she will go to work, that's monetary aspect of I may champion this fundraising. So it means I need to work twice hard so that I can even contribute more than some other people, just to give them faith or boost their morale when it comes to giving. I hope you're understanding it. Okay. The next thing is that support system. I cannot even mention this enough. See, support system, you can't do without support system when it comes to being intentional, when it comes to finding your purpose, when it comes to living a purposeful life, or living purposeful lives intentionally, you can't do without a supportive system. Your supportive system in the form of your spouse if you are married. If you are not married, maybe your fiance. If you are not married, maybe your parents, your siblings, your family. If you are married, your spouse. That support system, it is everything. It can make or break you. And I'm saying it categorically because yes, you can decide not to let it break you, but if you are not that strong, it can actually break you. Communities, with a community like My Faith My Womb, that I don't know what other support system you will need with a community like My Faith My Womb. There are so many other communities as well. That we have Fabulous Women Network, Veils of Women, so many beautiful what do you call it, mom something, or on Tell It All Moms. There's so many communities, and I see these communities also doing a lot for other people. Because I'm women biased, that's why I keep saying the women bit, but there's Tell It All Dads as well, and I see them doing fantastic things for some of the men there as well. So you need to position yourself in a community, and in addition to the community, find a mentor. A mentor is somebody that has gone ahead, that can guide you. Find a mentor, pray about a mentor, and get somebody that can hold your hand. We are all not above mentorship. The other time I said it, sometimes there are certain people you don't even think they can mentor you. Somebody like your husband, you can think, oh, no way. But sometimes little things, they may be chipping in little things. It's all a way of mentoring. So be careful who you pick as a mentor. I believe we all know the story between Esther and her cousin or uncle Mordecai, and you realize that place of mentorship was there. Ruth and Naomi, that place of mentorship was there. And if any of them achieved what they did, it was because they submitted themselves to mentorship. So please, let us be intentional about mentorship. And finally, let me talk about these things. The way forward, you need to have a personal action plan. I've never seen, somebody who lives purposefully and doesn't have an action plan. A few years ago, we put together, Bishop helped me, was like a document, right? It was, I've forgotten the name we gave it, but it's a document we have, and it has the names of things we want to do years from when we we put those documents together. I'm sure most of you know Orange with the Four Sons. That was conceived in 2015. Like, there are things that My Faith My Womb was conceived in 2016 or 2017. A lot of the things were because we have a document, we have a purpose document. Do you understand? So we have action plans. Okay, and I'm saying these things to you because by God's grace, we are products of it. It's not like we are saying and we've not done. No, we have actually lived it out, and by the grace of God, in the era of social media, you are all or you can all attest to it. By God's grace, you have seen at least elements of what we say and what we do, so you know what we say is true. Have a personal action plan. And for yourself as an individual, you may have a family action plan, but as an individual, you yourself have an action plan for yourself, because your life is your life. Okay, nobody must take responsibility for your life, and nobody should take responsibility for what you are supposed to do. Do you understand? So please have an action plan for your life as well, your personal action plan. Some of you need to go back to school. Your husband has said it, go back to school. He's tired, he cannot say it again. So it's now up to you to make your personal action plan to go back to school. Do you understand? The next thing will be journaling or tracking. Journaling or tracking. You need to, that is the way forward. You need to journal. You need to chronicle your achievements. You need to chronicle your losses. You need to chronicle your journey, where you are going, the process. I dare say that My Faith My Womb My Faith My Womb book may probably not have come out the way it did, but because we journaled, I was journaling every step of the way. I had dates, I had dream books, I have my dream books. I have dream books as far as 2015. So it kept us updated. We were very updated with events that had happened. We didn't forget because we were tracking. So track your life. If you can't journal, note important dates and important happenings, because that will all culminate to the big picture of the unfolding of your purpose. Okay, and one of the things I can also share with you are the other side. What I've said is all you see that purpose is, but there are certain things that purpose is not. 1 Corinthians 13 teaches us about what love is. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not prideful, love is not this, love does not boast, love endures all things. Again, in the same scripture, it tells us what love is not. Love is not prideful. Love does not boast. Love does not do this. Love does not do that. You understand? So, one of the things that purposeful living is not is that it is not easy. I've never heard anyone who said they lived a life of purpose and said it was easy. Moses lived a purposeful life, but Moses did not have it easy. Right from birth, his mother Jochebed did not have it easy trying to save her good child. That's what the Bible in Exodus, you see that the Bible refers to Moses as he was a goodly child. The mother saw beyond him as a baby. She saw into the future. Do you understand? So you need to just understand that it is not easy. Purposeful living is not an easy road to walk on. It's not a pleasant road to walk on. It doesn't mean everything will be smooth. When you are a married couple and you are trying to build purpose, it doesn't mean you will not fight because you are doing purpose. Purposeful living is not easy. Again, purposeful living is costly. See, if I can count the number of times, right? Maybe monies that can be used to chill, monies that can be used to buy Karina cake, monies that can be used to, Bishop, help me, where can we even go? Go for buffet, you know, Sunday buffet. But that Sunday buffet money has to be bought or has to be used to buy internet for My Faith, My Womb show. Purposeful living is costly. Sometimes it can cost you and even cost the children that you have. It doesn't mean that you are not taking care of the children, but sometimes they too have to sacrifice. They have to understand the place of sacrifice for what you've been called for. So please get it here and now. Purposeful living is costly. It will cost you. It's not all about money. It will cost you your time. It will cost you relationships. There are certain relationships that we have lost simply by being purposeful, because sometimes we are doing a lot. So genuinely, you may not be able to stay in touch with every other person. Genuinely, you may not be able to, speak 24/7 with certain friends. And we've lost people along the way. And it's okay. It doesn't mean that, let's say, if we are to meet them tomorrow, we cannot vibe. But that relationship or the depth of that relationship you had with them once before may not be the same, because you are living purpose. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that because you are living a life of purpose, don't talk to anybody. No. I'm not saying that because you are living a life of purpose, block everybody to focus. No. What I'm saying is that you might be so busy, focused, you are minding your own business, minding the business of what you've been called to, that you may not have time for frivolities. You may not have time to engage in, because let's say, for instance, myself and my bishop, we are always talking about ideas. We are always brainstorming about what to do next. We are here and we are planning next year, 5th anniversary. We've already started planning 5th anniversary. We've already started downloading. Bishop is my witness. Bishop, you are my witness. We've already started downloading things for next year. So we're always on the move. We're always talking about something that is purpose tied. It doesn't mean we don't have fun, or we don't converse about our marriage, or we don't have funny conversations. No, but the time for those things is limited with other people, because we are always trying to do something. Do you understand? Okay, let me not stress too much there. The next thing I'll say is that purpose can make you question yourself, question God, question your life 1,000 times and more. Because of purpose, you can ask yourself, hey, am I even doing the right thing? Why am I even here? I remember when I first left my corporate work and I came home, I was like, meanwhile, I decided to leave, but I was like, why did I even decide to leave? Because at that point I was just tired, and I'm like, this thing, is it worth it? Even to a few, maybe even last year, there are times I'll ask myself, this thing, is it what should I still keep doing? Look, purpose will keep making you ask why. And it's not a bad thing, but sometimes the enemy can sow seeds of disfocus when you keep asking why for the negative reasons. Do you understand? When you keep asking the why and entertaining the negative reasons that come up, you can ask yourself why, and the devil can throw in, but the people that you're even doing it for crying, they don't even appreciate it. Why are you even wasting your time? Then your why is lost. So as the purpose is making you ask yourself why, focus on Jesus. Let your eyes be fixed on the man up there. Let him be the reason why you are doing what you are doing. And the final thing I'll say is that purposeful living is not about popularity. Please write this down. Purposeful living is not about popularity. We are not living a life of purpose because we want to hold the microphone, or because we want to stand on global stages, or we want the whole world to hear our voices. That is only an aspect of it. Purposeful living is not for self-aggrandizement. Anybody who you have seen live, and I'm saying this because for some of you, your mindset is that purpose is only about ministry. No. Purpose is not only about ministry. However, purpose is turning that thing you do into your ministry. So recently I showed that the Church of Pentecost has come out with a theme for 2025, and the synopsis of the theme is that you need to live or make your work or your profession your ministry. Do you understand? So you may be a nurse, but so long as you understand that this is your ministry, you are living your purpose. You are not on the stage, you are not on TV as the best midwife of the year, but in that hospital, everybody knows Nurse Akosia Dear. It's like my midwife, what's her name? Midwife Mavis, Auntie Mavis in Kolebu. Look, everybody knows. Ask for Auntie Mavis, dear. Nurse Mavis, just go to Kolebu and tell them I said you should come and look for midwife Mavis Ama. She's a supernatural midwife. She's a supernatural midwife. Do you understand? So purpose is not about popularity. It's not about self-aggrandizement. It's not about fame. It's not about being a celebrity. It's not about, letting people know the kind of things that have been happening and the powerful things. Look, I always say that we don't share half of the testimonies that come in my faith, my womb. Otherwise, you should be working like this. We should be working with piety, because the kind of testimonies in this ministry, we don't share half, just so that we can abase and abound. So, in a nutshell, I want to leave you with this. Being a woman or a man of purpose comes with a huge responsibility. But you cannot do this without knowing the creator and the author of your life. The man Jesus. Abba wants you to come to him. Our Father in heaven wants you to come to him, so that he can show you why he created you, so that he can show you why he has called you. It's years later, together with a lot of prophecies I have received. You will be a woman that will encourage people. Women will come at your feet. Even my own bishop will sometimes just tell me, those years ago, a lot of women will come to your rising. You women older than you will seek for counsel. He used to say all those things, and you think, maybe they were a joke at the time. But now that is the reality. But it's because daily I get to God. Daily I ask God. This afternoon, it was around 11. I was just lying in bed asking God. This is my Bible study book. So I was just communing with God, asking God that today, what should I do? What does he have for me today? And I heard this live loud and clear, and I didn't waste time. Obedience, purpose, we need time. And the final thing I'll end with this live is that there is no time. People are dying with the speed of light. So beloved, if you are watching me, if you have something not done, tomorrow is not guaranteed. We have a friend who slept and never woke up. So your tomorrow, it takes the grace of God. We have a friend who was in his house, he fell or whatever in the bathroom, and he was not discovered till the following morning. You don't have time. You might think, may train kakra for the young mothers here. Let me come to you. You might think, let me wait when the children are old, kakra. This live, I could have said, let me wait when the children are asleep. I'm doing this live and somebody is down here watching Coco Melon, because this life must happen. You understand? So I don't want to bore you too much. We have another prayer meeting on my Faith My Own page as well. So I pray that this message blesses you. I wish I could read some more comments, but I pray that you'll be blessed with this message. I pray that God will build capacity within you to live a life of purpose, to challenge yourself, to sometimes the odds are against you, especially as a woman. Okay, I have some comments here. I'm learning a lot. Thank you, mommy. Thank you. Honampe job. Yes, that was before. Yes. God bless you and daddy immensely, and may the oil on your head never run dry. Thank you so much, mummies. Thank you so much. And I thank God for this life. I always say it's never about the numbers. And I know that even if one soul was blessed tonight, heaven is rejoicing because I have fulfilled purpose. I have fulfilled mandate. So don't be too offended when you keep hearing the word purpose. Purpose is not a cliche. It's not repetition. It is because that is the mandate. That is the mandate. So this evening, in the quietness of your heart, I just want you to ask God. And like I said, if you want a copy of the purpose sheet, just send me hi or send me, mommy, please, can I have a copy of that purpose? And one of the things the Lord has led me to do in this season is to raise a generation of women that regardless of their circumstances, regardless of what they find themselves doing, they are determined to live the best version of themselves, regardless of the situations that throw themselves at them, whether they are waiting, whether they are pregnant or whether they are nurturing young babies, they are prepared to still live their best. So I have 2 courses coming up. The first course is for those that want to start writing. Some of you have deep stories that you want to share. God has been nurturing your heart. You are still proving stubborn. You are still being disobedient. Who tells you that a book or a bestseller must be 100 pages? Who told you? Have you seen? I wish I had that small book. Have you seen those small booklets, 23-page booklets? Have you seen those small 10-page booklets? Do you know what your obedience can do for somebody? So I'm organizing a creative writers beginners class. The class goes for $20 if you are out of Ghana. And if you are in Ghana, it goes for 200 cedis on the 30th of November at 4. I'm equally organizing a YouTube beginner class on the same day. And that class is at 6 p.m. So if you would want to be part of any of this, the YouTube class goes for 100 cedis. And creative writers class goes for 200 cedis. So if you would want to be part of cohort 2 for the YouTube class, some of you, God has been nudging your heart. Start a channel, talk to me, start a channel, tell them about this thing I'm doing with you, tell them about how I'm helping you heal your marriage, tell them about how the challenges that you are finding in your workplace and how you are navigating. You are still stuck, proving stubborn. Listen, you are running out of time, and God will ask you. I'm challenging you tonight. Tonight I came with a whip. God will ask you, a spiritual whip. God will ask and query you, why did you not do it? Because in the parable where the servants were supposed to use their talents, that one servant that buried the talent, God was upset. So if you keep delaying out of fear, out of distractions, out of whatever, God doesn't care your reasons. He will still ask you. Beloved, put your right hand on your chest and let's pray. And so, Father, we thank you for tonight. Thank you. Thank you for charging us to live a life full of purpose. Thank you for pushing us out of our comfort zone to live purposefully intentional lives. Tonight we commit ourselves, we commit our dreams, we commit our visions, we commit every reason why you have called us, and we ask, oh God, that you would make the path straight for us. Lord, where we lack clarity, we ask for clarity. Where we lack wisdom, we ask for wisdom. Where we lack help and destiny helpers, we ask for destiny helpers. We ask for a supportive community for those of us who don't even know where to belong. Lord, give us mentorship. Give us mentors after your own heart that will hold our hands to the place where we ought to be. We thank you and we give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you. If you've been blessed in this life, let me know. Say God bless you. Share a word of prayer. Send me a word of blessing. If our lives have impacted you in any way, send us a message. Your messages encourage us. So I don't know, God willing, next week Friday what the Lord will ask us to do, but if it happens that we can, we will come your way with another live session. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video, go to my YouTube page, Wilma Forson, and subscribe for godly content. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, anywhere, and follow My Faith My Womb. Watch our videos to give you hope. Whether you are trying for a baby or not, they will give you hope. God bless you, and lots of love from my bishop as well. Good night. Bye-bye.
I put my trust in Thee, oh Lord. I put my trust in Thee. I put all of my trust. Oh Lord, hey, in Thee, oh Lord, I put my trust in Thee. I put all of my trust. When me mommy cry so me tremble, oh nyankopon, was so